All right, welcome back to the Texags NCAA 2014 tournament here on the Ocho. In this episode, we're going to talk about the North and the West regions. So we had some really good games. This episode is brought to you by EA Sports. Thanks for teasing us with bringing the game back and then telling us it's going to be 3 years. We appreciate that. If you're watching this, we have one request. Don't screw it up. You've had plenty of time to make this awesome. So we're looking forward to that. All right, let's take a look at the bracket. We had some pretty phenomenal games here in the North. So we had number 4, Wisconsin, upsetting number 1, Michigan State. What do you guys think about this game?
Yeah, this was a really great game. It was a back and forth, tight game the entire way. It really came down to the end, last 2 minutes of the game. Michigan State had the ball driving, had a really good play call on a screen pass that just didn't get executed well. Unfortunately, they had to kick the field goal with about a minute left. Gave Wisconsin the ball, I think with timeouts to use as well. They were able to drive down and get the score to end the game. So really exciting game to kick off the second round.
Yeah, no, it was a great game. I remember watching it and being really excited about Michigan State's screen call, but it didn't work out. The one thing I'll say about here is it's the first number 1 seed to go down. And so 1 seeds have kind of held strong through the first round, and this is the first one to falter.
Yeah, this was kind of a wild game for a couple of reasons. One, having our first 1 seed go down, and secondly, 28-24 game between Michigan State and Wisconsin. So really an offensive explosion from these two teams. I think the biggest surprise was Washington actually having a mobile quarterback. You typically see big old tree back there at quarterback for Wisconsin. So this was surprising to see. It was really an incredible back and forth game, but yeah, Wisconsin moves on to the next round.
Yeah, you reminded me, there's in the first round, these two teams combined for 30 points. Michigan State had 20 and Wisconsin had 10.
Yeah, it was an offensive explosion.
And you don't think offense when you see these two teams matched up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's definitely a really good game.
All right, in the second half of the North bracket, in our 6-2 game, another crazy ending, great game. What did you guys think about this one?
Yeah, so stop me if you've heard this before. Ohio State was driving tie ball game and had a chance to score a touchdown. They called a screen pass, and it didn't work out, and gave the other team, after a field goal from Ohio State, gave Oklahoma State a chance to drive down and score the winning touchdown with 3 seconds. It was definitely a heart pounder, and I wasn't even playing in the game. I was sitting on the couch, I think, and my heart rate got up like I was running a 5-mile run or something like that. It was a great game.
Yeah. So in the battle of who's the real OSU, Oklahoma State took the win here. It was actually a really incredible game. And in typical Ohio State fashion, they fall apart late in the year and can't get it done on the big stage. So yeah, we heard some rumors in the locker room this week that team is really distracted, kind of overlooking Oklahoma State. Can you speak on that, Chris?
Yeah, distractions played a pretty big part of the preparation this week. As coaches, we failed to get through to them. As coaches, we failed to make our coaching points more compelling than their fat little girlfriends. Now, their fat little girlfriends have some obvious advantages. For one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, and which is how great they are. And how easy they're going to have it. We have a bunch of people here, and everyone wanted to win that football game, but nobody wanted to play in the football game. I mean, that defies every level of work ethic that exists in regards to football. And as coaches, we have to solve our failure on reaching them, and the players have to listen to us. I'm willing to go to some fairly amazing lengths to make that happen. I don't know if I'll be successful next week or not, but I'm going to try. And there are some people that are going to be extremely inconvenienced. And if it happens to be their fat little girlfriends, that's too bad.
Well said, but I don't think there's many fat girls outside of Ohio. So
I'm sorry, I lost it with Cody. Cody couldn't keep a straight face, had his hands over his face the entire time.
Oh, moving on to this matchup to see who's going to represent the North, the Wisconsin Badgers and the Oklahoma State University Cowboys. So Sweet Caroline 16 and Cactus Jack. What do you guys think about this matchup?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a great game. Obviously, both teams can play some offense. They scored some points in their second round matchups. If I'm going to predict a team, I think Wisconsin can pull it off. I'm no shame to Oklahoma State. I think they played a great game in their first game of the tournament, and hats off to them. But I know what kind of player Michigan State has behind the helm there, and for Wisconsin to do that to that team was pretty telling. So I'll pick Wisconsin here.
Yeah, no, from my perspective, you have two teams. I think Wisconsin might have been ranked 5 and not 4. Either way, they were in that 4 or 5 matchup, and Oklahoma State is a 6. You're going to have a all-out brawl here. Both of these teams pulled upsets in the first round and maybe even the second round to get here to the Elite 8. So I think it's a great story. And like you said, Chris, I think Wisconsin's win over Michigan State's pretty impressive. So if you made me pick, I'd probably have to go that way. That being said, you can't sleep on Oklahoma State. They took down Ohio State. So
nope.
I'm really looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to play contrarian here. I actually like Oklahoma State in this game. And I think Wisconsin has showed they definitely have the offense to keep up with Oklahoma State. But this is probably another matchup similar to Nebraska and Stanford in the last round that probably hasn't happened too often. I could be completely wrong on that, but I wouldn't think that this has happened too often in the history of college football. But yeah, I'm gonna go with OSU here. I think they showed a lot in their last game. And so did Wisconsin. You can't discount that win against Michigan State, but I'm gonna go with the Pokes here.
All right, you can argue that they both got kind of lucky, and then they both took advantage of that luck and won the game. So, yeah, really looking forward to this matchup. All right, let's take it out to the West for the second part of this bracket. We had one really phenomenal game, and then a slobber knocker for a little bit that kind of got out of hand. But let's talk about the Huskers taking down the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was shocked at the end result of this game. Stanford gave Ryan and his Cornhuskers all they could handle the entire game. He had a lead, throughout the game. Stanford came back and tied it a few times. But in the end, Nebraska's defense pulled through with a late pick, which sealed the game for them, and they were able to drive out the clock at the end. But really, really tough game, and I came away very impressed by Stanford.
Yeah, this game was much closer than I anticipated. Hats off to Stanford for that incredible performance. Really, I think a lot of the motivation came from the in-game trash talk from the Nebraska head coach. Had some choice words for that for the play calling on the Stanford sideline. So I think that definitely gave some motivation to Stanford to hang in this one. But I think the better team definitely won here, and be interesting to see them in the next round.
Yeah. So from as the Nebraska coach perspective, I don't think it was much in-game trash talk as much as it was me trashing my own defensive coordinator for knowing exactly what play was coming but not being able to stop it. First off, hats off to the coach from Stanford. That was a heck of a game. And it was really tough to stop. I think he's going to make some noise in the consolation bracket. That being said, it was a frustrating win from the Nebraska sideline. We have a lot of things to work on. You can think you're great, but we're Cornhuskers. We're proud Cornhuskers. And I don't know if you guys have ever husked corn before, but you can peel all those leaves off and you think you're done, but there's all those strings left, and nobody wants to eat strings. So those are the little things. You need to work on the little thing. You can't eat corn. You can't eat corn with the strings. So we need to focus on the little things.
I'm just thinking of Pinocchio. I have no strings.
The strings are the little things, and we're going to work on the little things this week. And those are the strings. We're going to peel them all off, and by the time this week's done, we're going to have a nice plump piece of Nebraska corn for everyone to enjoy.
Well, that was interesting. I'd like to point out that's the second coach that said he wants to take his hat off without taking his hat off. Find that funny. All right, so interesting take there by Ryan. Let's look at the second game here. The Horns take down the Dogs, number 3 over number 7. This game was tight and then kind of pulled away. But what were your thoughts on the way this one played out?
Yeah, so this was a great game in the first half. So Troy T-Bone, our buddy at Washington, had a great game plan, and after pulling the upset over Oregon, tried to kind of copy the same format and was doing a great job, at least offensively, in the first half. It was a tie game, and Washington had the ball with the chance of making it the last drive in the first half before the kickoff. But it kind of fell apart a little bit as the running back got hurt on a run up the middle, and so he went to 5 wide and threw it deep into double coverage, and that was an interception.
All right, this segment was full of technical difficulties from Ryan, inability to read and inability to keep his internet. So let's keep on talking about this Texas-Washington game.
Yeah, so close game until right before half. His running back gets hurt, and he throws a pass into double coverage. It gets picked off. From there, Texas plays it perfectly. They scored the last score of the first half, and they got the ball to open the second half and scored there. So they were up by 14. And then from there, they trade scores back and forth, but it was almost out of hand because Washington couldn't stop Texas. So the final score there was 49-35.
I came away really impressed with the game plan from Texas. Really executed it well. I think his quarterback was 15 for 18 or some ridiculous percentage. No turnovers from his side of things. I think what hurt Washington a lot was turnovers. I think he had 2 picks to maybe 3. So that really killed him, especially at the end of the half. So I look forward to this next round game between Nebraska and Texas. I think I think Texas is going to give you a run for your money.
Yeah. So this bracket continues to disappoint. We get the Ags eliminated in the first round, and we got Texas going on to the Elite Eight. So yeah, this is worst case scenario, but I think they're running into a buzzsaw here in the next round. But talking about this game against Washington, like you said, the first half was pretty much exactly how Washington wanted to go right up until the end, and then it kind of fell apart at the end. And then really at the end of the first half is when it kind of fell apart. Anybody that plays this game knows if you get the ball at the beginning of the second half, really scoring last at the end of the first half is key to staying in a close game. And unfortunately, Texas played that to perfection and never really looked back. Washington scores a touchdown late to bring it to a 2-score game, but this one got pretty ugly in the second half. So Texas moves on to the next round.
Well, every tournament needs a heel. So there we go. All right, let's talk about this matchup. You kind of gave a little bit of an opinion earlier, but what do y'all think about this former Big 12 matchup?
Yeah, this is a rematch of that epic Big 12 championship game where Ndamukong Suh just took over and Texas got the favorable time put back at the end of the game. But about this matchup, if Texas can come out and execute the way they did versus Washington, I think they'll be able to hang in there and make it close. I'm not sure they can overcome, the abilities of Nebraska, but I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, so I think Texas has shown a lot coming into this game. Obviously, Nebraska has some really good wins underneath their belt, especially this last Stanford win. But that's not to take anything away from Texas, who beat a really good Washington team. I don't expect this game to really be all that close. Maybe in the first half, I could see this ending up exactly like the Texas versus Washington game. Close first half, and then Nebraska pulls away in the second half. But I think this is where Texas's, I don't even want to call it a Cinderella run, ends. I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw here in Nebraska, and I think Nebraska is definitely going to come out of the West here.
Coach, your thoughts?
So I think you guys are sleeping a little bit on Texas. I would say that, from my opinion, they've had the best offense in the tournament so far. followed maybe by Auburn. So 49 points against Baylor in a blowout, and then 49 points against Washington, who we've been hyping up as a great defense. So, I mean, they've scored 50 points a game and probably have eased off the gas at the end of the game. All gas, some breaks in this case. But honestly, this comes down to my defense and if we can stop the Texas offense. They've scored 50 points a game. If I can slow them down and hold them in the 20s, I think we're going to feel good about our chances. That being said, they have the speed advantage and the talent advantage, so we're going to have to come up with some creative ways to get some turnovers and slow them down. On offense, we're going to play keep away. No turnovers is the name of the game. Let's slow them down on defense and then win the turnover battle, and that's the goal.
Yeah, that's a interesting statement, saying that Texas has the best offense. I don't think anybody scored over 50 points. Who knows?
Hot takes.
Oh, you're talking about yourself. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? We've only seen one game from Florida, so it could be a fluke. We're not sure. We're gonna have to see how they do against Georgia.
Great point. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this episode. As always, you got about a week to play. If you're in the consolation bracket, like some of us are, two of us on this right now, try to get those games in, stream them. Let's have some fun. Enjoyed watching them, and look forward to seeing what comes next. Thanks, guys.